Hello, Kalu Kalay. My name is Notepad, and on an I write games for funs. What are we doing today? Today we're going to be ripping and roaring through all of this shit. Well, that's a little bit. That's not quite right. We're going to be going through things. So meant to stream a lot earlier today. There's a reason for it. I said I'm going to go get a coffee at about 4:30. And then I said at 4:15, I'm going to get ready. I put on one of my jackets because it's a little cold outside, my little light jacket. And then I said I'm going to lay down for a second because I just want to lay down for just a minute. During this time, I entered an Inception dream hell, where I could no longer wake up, and then an hour and a half went by. And then it was 6 o'clock. And then I kind of laid in bed, realizing that I had gone through Inception dream hell. And then I got a coffee and came back here. So hello. Welcome to the Notepad Anon experience. Requiem. So, what's on the menu today? See, the thing is with this dream, it was, the thing with this dream was weird because it was a dream where I was waking up from a dream. So it would be this horrifying existence of waking up to be thinking that I'm out of the dream, only to wake up that I'm out of the dream, that I'm in this endless, horrifying cycle of waking up but not being truly awake. Wasn't scary at all. It was just when you are getting desperate where you can't wake up. And it's that slow dawning realization that you're like 80 layers deep into your nightmare reality. You're like, you know what? Maybe I don't get to have nice things. You ever thought about that, world? You ever thought that I don't get to have nice things? But, so, what has been on the metaphorical menu? So, as you can see, I added detailed artwork. Very detailed artwork to things, just to break things up. Now, you may be wondering, Notepad, why are you adding hyper-detailed artwork to such a thing? Why don't you use the magic machine? Well, because truth be told, the magic machine could produce this, roughly speaking, and that's if I started using a lot of reference imaging. That's not quite what I want to do, because this is a problem. So, I can't quite get the exact way that I want it, except if I start trying really, really hard. So I said, nah, why don't I just not try really hard? And then I didn't. And then I just added some bullshit every place. Also wrote lore. Wrote a lot of lore because, like, here's the story of Schwarzwald. Here's everything I was kind of given. Yeah, here's everything I was kind of given there. This is a little bit about the elves. These are about humans. Still need to do goblins, pucka, and then talk about the fair and foul and the price of a soul. Just to explain some very basic premises there. This is what I have to work off most of the time. It's not a lot. Going to be perfectly frank with you. This is not something that is extremely detailed to work with. But that's half the fun. Yay! So, what are we working on today? Today we're going to be working on the round table, and in turn we're going to be see how far I can get into it. Probably the goal today is I want to hey, you have access to the document. Generally speaking, I'm feeling good about our timetables. Not perfect, but it happens. But yes, round table today. So, round table is going to be our pretty much the first. As you can see, we're already 49 pages into this. The goal, anyway, is thankfully, the Oath of Service for 4 pages. Like, hey, what are we actually doing to play this game? I'm happy that this is here already because it's here. We're already making good progress, if that makes sense. our fair patron, of course, because we need to explain how patrons work. Oh, we've got a Manly. Hello, Manly. Da 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 da. It's a Manly time. I have viewing access, not editing. I'm not giving anyone. I don't give anyone editing access. Thank you very much. I give no one editing access. I don't even give patrons editing access, and if they do request editing access, I literally make a separate document, name it the exact same, and then hand it to them. That is the... Because I am notoriously picky about that. Yeah, so you have doc access means nothing. You can see it. That's all you need. You can see it. I'm always available. Let's see. Cool. Okay, round table. Down we go. How do I want to word? Let's see. The retainers have been assembled, and their patron has called a round It's called a round table. It's called a round table. In strict terms, the round table is the start of every adventure, quest, and crisis. The crisis the patron is calling upon her retainers to, let's see. Round table is the start of every adventure, quest, and crisis the patron is calling upon her retainers to solve. During this time, they we'll explain the objective and overall goals. Start jockeying for her influence. Every patron with positive influence. Actually, every patron has a D4, D6, D8, D10, and D12 associated with every influence with a positive value. Every patron has a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12 associated with every positive with every influence with a positive value. Circling the round table, beginning starting with whoever has the deepest bond. Let's see, starting with whoever has the deepest bond with the patron. The retainers are circling around this, starting with whoever has the deepest bond with the retainers are able to take one of these one of their patrons' die and add it and apply it to one of their chakras. This is referred to as the influence die. This is referred to as the influence die, allowing the retainers to have an edge, an edge through the strings and whispers of their patron. Whispers of their patron. This is referred to as the influence die, allowing the retainers to have an edge through the strings and whispers of their patron. Any influence die can be applied to any chakra, allowing the let's see, any influence die can be applied to any chakra. Thus taking the D12 wealth die. Taking the D12 wealth die, one can assign it. Actually, a retainer can assign it. A retainer may assign it to their mind chakra or their sacral chakra. Maybe assign it to their mind. Let's taking the D12 wealth die. A retainer may assign it to their mind, sacral, or any other chakra of their choice. I'm reiterating this. It can be applied to any chakra. So you take the D12, you can assign it to anything else. I want to beat that into them a little bit. That's kind of an important thing. Every retainer has, let's see. Round table continues until every retainer has bowed out. Until every retainer has bowed out. But multiple, let's see. Until every retainer has bowed out, but multiple rounds may have taken. And how far are we in? And this is heading 1. That means we can make this for heading 2. Strings of nobility. Hey, it's Fat Albert. Okay, all right. Strings of nobility. See, the strings of nobility. So, what does the patron's influence actually do for the retainers in the field? The patron has a soft power in every corner of Schwarzwald. Authority derived. Authority derived from equal parts. Station name and lineage and connection to the Eichenmaiden's court. Then let's equal parts, station name and connection to the Eichenmaiden's court. During any time during an adventure, the retainers may call upon their patron's influence, and roll that patron's influence for boons and services. And we do that. For boons and services. The patron will roll a number of die equal to her total influence. For example, a patron with 6 mystique would roll with 6 mystique. 6 mystique would roll 6 dice. The highest remaining influence die the patron still has. Let's see. The highest remaining influence die the patron still has will act as the die value. So if our example only has D10 left, only has D8 left, she would roll 6d8, counting successes as normal. Fuck. Actually. Counting successes as normal and counting successes normally. There we go, the strings of nobility. So we then go down here. There we go. Muse in the field. I'm not responding to something. I apologize. I am focused. Grace is the ties to the Elven courts and ability to leverage relationships among noble circles. Let's see, the ties to the Elven court and ability to leverage relationships among noble circles. Ties to the Elven court and ability to leverage relationships among noble circles and their various cadres. Mystique, the ties to the mystical and strange woodland forests. A combination, let's see, it ties to the mystical and strange forest that dominates Schwarzwald, a combination of ancient magics and let's see, the ties to the local population and their desires, allowing the retainers to maintain power over the nobles' lessers, over their patrons people. Hey. How would you describe terror? How would you leverage terror? Is a sound a tactic? Let's see. Intimidation is a sound a tactic as any other As any other strategy for diplomacy. Intimidation is a sound attack as any other strategy for diplomacy. Nothing gets people talking. Intimidation is a sound. Let's see, forcing others to act by implying a grim what if. Wealth. Gilded jewels. Gilded coins and lovely jewels. Gilded coins and lovely jewels all can grease. Can grease the wheels of bureaucracy. Can grease the wheels of many things. As well, as long as you're making purchases on credit effectively. Because you're using, effectively, the amount of money she has is not... The amount of money your patron has is stupid money. It's not real money. It's like, hey, you just have an absurd amount of money. Even at someone who is, like, at zero... Even at, like, someone who has 1 wealth, has more money than you can ever hope to have. You know, they are infinitely more wealthy than anyone else. Because they have money. Someone who is destitute and at 0, wealth is someone like, oh, well, you have absolutely no money anymore, and we're all going to die. Like, oh, great news, everyone. We did it. Counting successes normally and allowing retainers to benefit and themselves more. Actually, when the retainers use their patrons' influence. Let's see. When retainers use their patrons' influence, they will make a standard. They will make a standard test as usual. They'll make a standard test. Actually, no. I already explained that. Actually, no. You know what we can do? When in doubt, add an example. In example. For Lady Villa Drive. In the home of the Elven Queen, Her lady, Wackled maiden. Her lady, Wackled maiden. The patron has tasked the group, tasked her retainers. Well, let's see. The patron has tasked the retainers with discovering what her close friend and a potential assassination target, and her close friend and rival is looking for. Let's see. Has tasked her retainer discovering what her close friend and rival is looking for her 739th birthday. 739th anniversary. Of course, the group has found themselves at a party. The Wacholder Maiden is holding. alongside their dear patron. Mm. Then we use Grace. The group. Actually, one retainer opts to let's see, Grace. The retainers pull the patrons. Let's see, pull the patron's influence in the court to secure a private meeting with the Walking Maidens, with the Walking Maidens. Private secretary. Let's see. Retainers pull patrons' influence in the court to secure a private meeting with the Walking Maiden's private secretary. There is more than obvious that her ambition is as great as her employer. Failing this would have a hand be played. The patron is making moves, and now others know about it. Mystique, let's see. The retainers force the dwarf. Citing her connections to the woodsy nobility, woodsy lords. So we don't need that. With a few kind words, the retainers. Let's see. Retainers secure talk with servants of the Walking Maidens, Walkolder Maidens. Servants of the Walking Maiden. About their employer's peculiar habits. Striking the heart of the matter, it becomes to speak with her, how do we want to word it? Yeah, let's see. He sheepishly answers the summon is demanded. Let's see, a quick bribe to most of the guard staff allows the retainers to root around the walking maidens. Manor house relatively unopposed. Bar some more mystical deterrents. Now we do that. Get to places they shouldn't, or listen or sway others who would not normally care about them. Failing these tests will always invite their equal opposite. Will always invite their failing these tests will always invite their associated complications. Word with a patron who must answer an unfortunate bill. So again, it's kind of the idea that this is purely soft power. Hello. Patrons have money trees. The entire premise is that, again, it's profit factor for, like, well, it's like you have a lot more soft power versus a lot less you can't pick a lock with grace, mystique, noblesse. You aren't picking a lock like that. That's the thing. However, to get to the door to pick the lock, you might have to bribe someone. To get to, to have someone open the door for you, you're using terror. To convince people to not even have the door locked to begin with, then it might be a noblesse. That's kind of the idea, is this is not necessarily actively doing something. This is setting things up. This is enabling other people to do things. And this shouldn't really be, and again, bigger things demand bigger problems. Where it's like, hey, yeah, we're making this huge grace check, and like, aha, we want to influence the private secretary of this person to get her to talk to us. Oh, well, that's a big power play. That's a big play. You fail that grace roll because you took all her grace and she rolled like 2 fucking successes on a bunch of done like 12 d4s because you suck and everyone hates you. Oh, SpaghettiOs! Oh, this seems to be pretty bad. Like, this is pretty bad, and we can no longer, like, we've effectively played our hand a lot, and now suddenly our boss is calling us and wondering what we did, and that's bad. Mm. Mm. Using influence is risky. Not even necessarily that influence is risky, is that it's you're burning money to hire someone to open a lock. And that's money that you don't have anymore. It is a bigger thing. You're using a lot bigger thing in exchange for not actively doing something. And it could come and bite you in the ass. On the other hand, hey, she's got 10 D12s. She will never fail at money because she has an absurd amount of money currently, and it doesn't matter. It's like, wowzers, holy shit, she's fabulously wealthy and she doesn't need to care about money at all. The problem is when you do fail that money roll. That's the problem. You fail that one money roll, and then suddenly your boss calls me like, where the fuck did this bill come from? I'm going to crucify you. Like, uh-oh. Let's see. During their time in the field, the retainers may choose to take influence from their patron and directly apply it. And convert it to an influence die. Anytime the retainers were to use their patron's influence, they may choose to requisition support from on high. When this occurs, they remove they take one die of their choice. They take one die of their choice from the let's see. When this occurs, they take one die of their choice from the influence being used after the test has resolved. This will be treated. Influence die going forward. This will be treated as a regular influence die going forward. The cost of doing this in the field. The cost of doing this in the field is that one other die must be discarded instead of turned into an influence die. Representing this represents the patron pulling a bit harder on the strings than necessary. Let's see, pulling a bit harder than they should. Forcing her to ease up to keep them from snapping. So it's a little bit of the idea like you didn't get a really good die because everyone convinced you that you shouldn't take the D10 from wealth because we totally need the D10 from wealth. And then someone did a D10 roll, did a wealth roll. You can say, hey, I want support from on high. And everyone's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'll take the D10 and I'll get rid of the D4. You have a D10 now as an influence die. There may not be a D8 or D6, but hey, doesn't matter. You have a D10 now. Again, it's a little bit of a, you can work together on this, or you can be incredibly selfish. Because that's one of the things I constantly want to have a kind of this weird sword of Damocles holding over a lot of different things. Do you know any game that uses 3d10 roll under? No. 3d10 roll under is a huge amount of variables, though. That would probably be the reason why. Fatal uses 3d10 roll over. Scribble. That's 3d10 roll over. Yeah, this game enables you, and in fact encourages you to be a selfish dick. Damn straight. Because the thing is, if you all work together, if we all are in this together, hell yeah, we're gonna do really well. The thing is, do you want to work together? Because as of right now, that motherfucker is gonna get all the glory here. That motherfucker over there, he's gonna get all this glory because he's doing everything right. And I want it. I want to be more special. I want the patron to like me more so I get more things. I would constantly be selfish. Yeah, and the thing is, if you're constantly selfish, people are going to then start realizing you're constantly selfish and start trying to undermine you. That's where, and you can have a full game of people constantly undermining one another, all while, again, it's all kissing ass to the patron, all while simultaneously being at each other's throats. And hey, you take that D10, there's no D12, you might kill any amount of wealth being able to use. Does this game support assassinating each other? When we get to kind of like how conflicts and resolutions is and stuff like that, I'll probably have to put in like, hey, so you're trying to kill one another. Again, you don't need to be, and in some games, this isn't like, in some seasonal moods, it's not really going to be important. It's not really going to ever come up. Because, what I put in was, if I scroll up all the way over here, this is the seasonal mood system. Kind of a little bit similar to the Ryujin. The idea is that you're going to choose a seasonal mood for your patron, and that is going to be that's going to be the current nature of the kind of the stories and campaigns going on with that particular patron. So, for example, if we're spring is a time of whimsy and elation, the start of the year and the court's in session. Influenced by spring is ready to take on the world and the woods around them. This can cause them to take on drastic changes in their life and their retainers as well. Hey, we have a joyful spring patron. She wants to change things. Things are going well. It's a pretty positive campaign, all things considered. We're doing things a lot more actively. You're making moves. You know, it's like, okay, your patron is manic. Your patron's going sicko mode. Your patron wants to hurt people. Your patron is making very odd demands of you. If you want a really goofy, a really what the fuck is going on campaign, go manic. Because your patron's going to demand you go into the woods and fetch her a bunch of dwarves. And you'll be like, but ma'am, there's not dwarves out there. There's things that want to kill us. And she's just like, I know, so do it. Yeah. You know, contrasting that, you have Winter, which is all about paranoia. She's heavily paranoid. She is always looking over her shoulder. If you want like full-on court intrigue bullshit, then Winter is it. If you're full disquiet, if your patron's full disquieted, yeah, and this is kind of like an inbuilt session 0 almost there, Butter. Seasonal moods, Wanderhome reference, Wander note. Fun fact, actually, seasons don't do anything in Wanderhome, nor do they do anything here. Except I actually have reason for it. And there's actually other games behind it. But generally speaking, like, a full-on disquiet campaign is effectively the thing. I want you to imagine the thing, except you are in a fucking castle with an elven fae who is one fucking step away from killing everyone. She is completely insane at this point. There are mass paranoia. Everyone should be getting, like, very much gearing up to kill one another. Everyone should feel like they are on a knife's fucking edge during a disquiet patron. And I even make a kind of a comment on it is, hey, let's see, when meeting other nobles, their season may be different. The mood shifts when they enter. The whimsical spring patron's meeting with a frigid and domineering winter noble should feel as a culture shock, shifting the entire adventure into a much less hospitable one. And that's kind of the idea with it is... Fuck you, Manly. Don't you try to promote Wanderhome in this house. I know you're Wanderhome's strongest fan. I know how you work, you Belarusian. To a degree, yeah, if you want to scribble. The kind of the idea behind this is like, Wanderhome, lads win again. But you kind of get the idea of like, hey, you're during summer. Summer is all about being active. But summer is also, we're going to war and we're going to kill everyone we meet. Like a summer meeting, a summer court person meeting an autumn court person, kind of an autumn person, because autumn is all about, it's melancholy, the first chill, small deals and double crossing as they greet each other with honeyed words and gossip, all while sending their retainers to kill their rivals. But it's the end of summer. We don't want to go to war again. We are good. It's melancholic. It's quiet. We're not like we're plotting to kill one another, but it's more like we've clearly ended the kind of the climactic events of summer, and we're very much like, oh god. Innuendos mixed with half-truth, even among loyalty is a dangerous game, while the retainers may see themselves as prized assets because others wish to play the game in their stead. Yeah, it's that's kind of the idea, is like, hey, you enter a deal with these people. It is an unfortunate, miserable experience for everyone involved. Let's see. Roundtable, strings of nobility, support from on high. Do I really need anything else? I don't think I need anything else in this particular section. Because this is kind of the idea of like, you go in a circle effectively of who has the highest influence. Like, not the highest influence, highest bond with the actual, patron. Where it's like, oh hey, I really like you, and you are my prized retainer. I love you. You are my favorite. You're my favorite pet. Then you're going to get first call. You can get a D12 right off the bat if you want, or you can play it nice. Say, hey, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass and to get a D10 instead. And then someone else gets a D12. You're like, well, I can afford that because I'm the favorite. Or do you want to defend your favoritehood? Ah, of course you're the favorite. This is what you worked for, right? Be an asshole. And of course, one thing I would also encourage, this is kind of more of a GM thing, is encourage the patron to also be very peculiar and very picky. Yeah, she is arbitrary. Fuck yeah. Generally speaking, Scrunglow, anytime you see some of my brilliant artwork, you can draw a picture there. It's very basic as usual. As for lore, read the lore I wrote because I'm like 80% sure it's right. 20% sure it's complete bullshit. I did exactly what was on the wiki and what you told me. It's not great. That's why I kept asking you, like, what do you want? What do you want? I'm just like, I am not working with a lot here. But let's see. So he can then move directly on to. Now we get to do a very convoluted section, which I've been thinking about quite a bit. Because it's a, to give you a very, very basic rundown, welcome to the relationship section. That. To give, relationship section, autism. So we are going to do, yeah, respond. Turns out working for an Elven Fae Queen is a bad, yeah, pretty much. Now, if I go to, let me open up my mirror fast. Again, I'm going to contact Miro. I think I will contact Miro, being like, Miro, I am your strongest warrior. I use your stuff almost exclusively. I will literally shill you for free. Can I just get like a, can I just get a very basic, can you please tell me I'm a real human being? I'll literally shill you in every single video. No questions asked. Because I am Miro's strongest soldier. But generally speaking, this is the idea for the relationship. This is a very convoluted system, and I'm going to do my best to explain it. So, effectively, I'm going to be calling this, very simply, the tree system. It's trees. Now, what's a tree made of? Let's ask ourselves a very important question. What is a tree made of? Obviously, we have our roots. The roots are strong. This is what influences everything. We have our trunk. We have our branches. We have our branches. And finally, we have the leaves. Now, what does this actually mean? Well, very simply put, these are going to be what every single relationship is actually composed of. Roots, the trunk, the branches, and the leaves. What is the root? What is the root of the relationship is the foundation on which the relationship is formed. Why do we actually know one another, and how it is everything built on the back of this? I am your retainer, you are my patron. I have swore a literal magical binding oath of service to you. I am with you until the day I die or you cancel our contract. We are fellow retainers. We're in this together. We have both signed an oath. We kind of want to kill one another, but we might be friends, we might not be friends. But this is the foundation of the relationship. Some roots are simply going to be weaker than others. That is a fundamental reality. Hey, this is my family member. She is my literal actual sister. Blood runs deep. No matter what it is, blood runs deep, and that's going to influence everything going forward. Hey, this is a random person that we have struck up a very common friendship because we met them once on a quest and the players have decided to obsess over her. Cool, she's our good friend now. That's the entire root of the relationship, is our friendship. We met. You were a random fucking person that we kind of know. Trunk is the trunk is kind of the, you could say, is like the strength. The trunk is going to be kind of the strength of our relationship. That is the gravitas of it, you could say. How strong is it? And of course, this is going to build. This builds up. This increases every time. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is having this be like D4. Kind of like D4. D4, D6, D8. Kind of like, this is like your base die that you are applying to the, to the situation. I didn't type that in correct. D6. D8. Kind of that's the idea. Like, you're building more on this relationship. How strong is it? How thick? How heavy is it? You have just you're really good friends, but we only really, we're friends. We're D4, and it's like, we know one another, and they would help, but, like, are they going to risk their life for me? No. Hey, this is a D12 friend. This guy is going to go to hell and back for you. He cares about you. And you care about him. Branches, on the other hand, are kind of like, you can almost call these like side elements to kind of like a branch is going to be a element. This is kind of a weird thing to kind of say, is kind of like, hey, this person is, this person, roughly speaking, will help you in combat. It's kind of the, like, let's say, like, hey, we'll supply resources. All right, easy enough. First, and but if it's only a D6, it'd be like, we'll support you. Things like that. That's kind of the very basic kind of premise of it. The leaves, though, the leaves are kind of the outward appearance. Now, the outward appearance is probably the absolute easiest to understand. What do people see of this? It could be exactly what the root is. On the other hand, hey, I will do horrible things. Please, I will suck your dick. No pat down bad for Miro. In this very convoluted way of doing this. The best way to think about leaves would be, hey, what's the outward appearance of this? Outwardly, we are master and retainer, and there is nothing beyond that. Behind closed doors? Well, behind closed doors, we share a bed, and I love you, you love me, we start a big happy family. Alternatively, behind closed doors, I string you up every night because I want to torture you because I hate you, and I find it very funny when you scream. Oh. Hey, what's kind of the outward... Yeah, it's like, the outward appearance is just how people view it. If you were to ask someone, what is the relationship between these people, the GM would say, what is the leaves of the, what would the leaves of this relationship be? Hey, the leaves they are master and retainer. They are full on there. But then you would start being able to investigate more. Well, the master and retainer, something's a little bit weird here, though. Something you don't quite know what the full detail is. You start looking at it a little bit deeper, and then you realize, oh, hey, this person has effectively done everything in his power to bankroll his patron to the point where he runs businesses just to fund her because she blows money constantly. And that's why? Because they have an incredibly deep relationship with one another, and that's a problem. Now, this could be very... Now, mind you, the idea here is, oh wow, this looks like it's going to be really complicated to write down. All you would really need to write down in a section would be like Billy Bob, retainer, you know, or like retainer, D8, good friend. That's all. What is Billy Bob? He's a retainer. He's a fellow retainer. That's how we view it. He's a fellow retainer. We're D8 with one another. We're in the shit together. We kind of know, and we are strong. You know, we've got a good relationship, generally speaking. We're good friends. How do people view you? We were good friends who work together as retainers. Nothing more extreme than that. Now, branches are the one that I am like most hesitant on, because I think, like, okay, foundation, this works. Obviously, this is never going to change. Your roots are never going to change of how this relationship formed, but the nature of it, it might. Being like, hey, you guys became friends, and it's kind of one of those things like, how did you meet your best friend? Well, we walked into each other, we met each other in kindergarten. Oh, you met each other in kindergarten. Yeah, we're childhood friends. And we've been friends since. Cool. All right, interesting. What's your relationship with this person? He stabbed me in the fucking gut. I was bleeding to death. And the thing is, these don't need to be positive or negative. These can be positive or negative. It's just like, hey, the root of our relationship is you stabbed me in the stomach and I fucking want to kill you. I hate you. And I despise you for every ounce of my being. Thank you very much, Biden Lugard. Ugh. Oh goodness, am I getting pinged by people? Hey gamer, how are you doing? I am doing well. Welcome aboard. Thank you for following. Apologies for not responding earlier, because guess what? Sometimes I don't see things because I'm too busy talking like an incoherent idiot. Now, this is not done yet. Now, the thing is, the basic premise works. What's our relationship? D6, whatever this is. Okay. The branches I don't know about, because there's two ways of doing the branches. Either we can make the branches like, here's a literal alternate interpretation of our relationship. Being like, oh, we're really good friends, but, you know, in the D6 tree, we're also, you know, we're also rivals. We're we're D8 friends, but D6 rivals, because of course we are, and we'll bicker with one another a little bit. Because in hell, that gives a little bit of nuance to it. Or they are like, purely like advantageous things of like, hey, you have a relationship with this person at D8, and the GM has said they have a branch at D8 saying that they will supply you with assistance. They have a branch here. This is something that is important to them. How? If you have any suggestions, now's the time to tell me, because I really don't know. Because this is... If we really look at things, like, when you go to, like, oh, let's talk relationship mechanics. Like, relationship mechanics, TTRPGs. It's like, Cortex Prime, we're basing it a little bit off of that, but it's like, what's my relationship to this D12? That's really the extent of things. You know, it's like, oh, it's obligation. And it's like, okay, that's not... PBTA games, like Fate, like... Yeah, it's usually like this incredibly... How do I want to... It's incredibly basic usually. And it makes sense too why it's as basic as it is. And it's like, oh well, here's red markets and it's dependent. Dependents are super fucking easy. Like, dependents have about as much influence on the game as it's very, and it's like, okay, I want more detailed. I want detailed detailed relationship mechanics. And it's like fucking nothing, because no shit it's not. Because it's just not a thing. It's just not really a thing with Delta Green, Bonds, Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Thirsty Sword Lesbians mentioned. Yeah, it's less like, oh, it's Bonds. I'm like, that's it? It's just Bonds? Is that the entire extent? Like, Fabula Ultima, I can summarize the entirety of Fabula Ultima's fucking bond system is that you spend a magic man point and reroll a die. That's all it does. And I'm like, that's not quite what I'm looking for. Maybe drama system? Does drama system have something that we're working with here? Because we're drama gaming. Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, not doing it. Yeah, it's... Trust move. It's like... Because the thing is, it's not a complicated idea. That's the thing. It's not a complicated idea. Because, hey, what is, at the end of the day, what are we going to be doing with these relationships? I want to make a roll, because I want to take my sacral, actually not sacral, I want to take my, my fucking, wouldn't be sacral chakra, what the fuck chakra would it be? Fuck. I want to take my navel, I believe it's my navel chakra, which is silly to say. No, that would be my, I want to take my heart chakra, let's say it's D8, and we got a good relationship. I'm your friend. You're my friend. We know each other. We've known each other for a while. I get to add a D10 to it. We roll. Wowzers, I've got 2 successes because you both rolled a 7. Wow, this is amazing. Oh, cool. I've got an influence die. Let's see what my influence die of D4 does. Wow, it's awful. I rolled a 1. Shit. But hey, I got 2 successes out of that. Sometimes you only need 1, sometimes you need 2. But hey, that's all it is at the end of it. At the very end of things, that is all it is. Just adding another die. Because ultimately, that's what most things are. Just add another die. We don't really need to think about it too hard from there. But how do we get the, like, generally speaking, if I want to, I could legitimately keep just this. I could keep this right here, and I think it would work just fine. But I feel like this branch system works. I just need to figure out how it works. Let's see. Is someone online? They are not online, so I cannot bully them for that. It just works. I just don't know how. Fucking magic. Magic. Because, like, the basic... Manly... You just said something that gave me an idea. Manly, this is why I keep you around, Manly. This is why you were my strongest Tiger Ball. My strongest warrior. That's all branches need to be. Magic. Well, not really magic, but I was discussing this with Scribble at an earlier time. Effectively, if you learn magic in any capacity, because magic is a little bit complicated, according to them anyway, magic is a little bit complicated, you're only going to really learn a little magic, but magic is always going to give you a D4. You monster. Goodbye, Manly. See, I'm a salty scribble. That hits a bar. So, basic idea is that if you're ever using magic to something, the thing is, just using magic to solve a problem will never succeed, because you will only have a D4. And remember, everyone, a success is 5 and 10. Those are the only two things you need to worry about, getting a 5 or a 10. But a D4 cannot roll a 5 nor a 10. However, you can mix them together. So if you have a D6 and a D4, you roll them together, and you roll jack shit. So let's roll something... Cool, I rolled a 4 and I rolled a 3 on my D6. I can add them together. I have 7. I scored a success. However, branches, we can use that as magic for situation. Hey, this is an aspect to the relationship that is important to the person. Therefore, you get to add an extra D4 regardless when you're interacting with this person with this branch. It can also be used as an interference die. That's another thing we also have to kind of talk about, is the idea of interference die. Of like, hey, this person hates you. This person loathes your existence and will do everything in their power to make sure that you fail. Everything I want you to fail. I want you to be miserable. I want you to be as horrible as possible. I have a branch with you saying that I am actively fucking with you. I am actively, going out of my way to ruin your chances of being happy. Oh no, they have a chance to actively ruin my chance of being happy. Guess what? Hey, they get to add a D4 to their interference die. Let's say they have an interference die of D6. Wow, they've scored a success because they rolled a 5. I don't want you to die. I want you to suffer. Yeah, and you've lost a success now from just purely from their interference. Yeah, no, okay, that... Damn, Manly. Manly, you're a genius. Why do you do this to me? Alright, You can have one branch per... You can form one branch per trunk, per section of trunk. So if you have a D6, you can have a maximum of 2 branches. If you have a D8, you get a maximum of 3, etc., etc., etc. Alright. Alright, cool. So, let's get to it. Schwarzwald. Let's see. Schwarzwald is run off of relationships from the feudal ties of lord and from the feudal ties of ladies from the feudal ties of the nobility to the from the bonds of neighborliness. Neighbor, won't you be my neighbor? How do I want to, like, actually to the bonds of, from the feudal ties of nobility to the small town, from the village scale, from the, to the village mayor, from the village mayors, who command respect of their people. Feudal ties of nobility to the village mayors who command respect of their people. During their adventures in the woods, the retainers will form relationships and bonds with one another. And will form relationships with one another and other characters and other unfortunates. They come across. These relationships, let's see, these relationships extend to everybody they encounter. These relationships extend to everybody they encounter. From centuries-long feuds to passionate summer romances. Summer romances. Let's see. These relations extend to everybody they encounter. Centuries-long feuds to passionate summer romances. The only consistent. To track all of the playing off the relationships of others and forging the correct ones with the right people will ensure a long, happy life for the retainer. Of course, nothing is simple. Of course, nothing is simple. Nothing is simple in the woodland. And nothing is simple in Schwarzwald. Nothing is simple in Schwarzwald. Daggers hide behind honeyed words. Let's see. Daggers hide behind silk. Daggers hide behind silken gowns, and trust is to be earned. Trust is to be earned, and trust is to be earned. But broken when necessary. Oh god, stretch. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. We're gonna. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, let's put that up there. Oh god almighty. That's not how my back is supposed to sound. Oh yeah. Oh god. Okay, there we go. Alright, we've snapped back into place. Snap back to reality. Autismo. I guess you would have made this, but I find that then again, I guess you would have made this in Maid rather than branch of autism that Notepad follows. So, also, Butter, since you're relatively new, my stretch is that way. I think it's time again to do this because it's been a while. So let's actually. I need to see if it spikes on the. Now let's do my other shoulder. That is my shoulder. That is the sound my shoulder makes when I roll my shoulders. I've actually had multiple people in my life, back people, spine people, say that's a horrifying noise and I need severe help. They never can find out a way to actually help me with that, and it's very funny though. Ooh, all right. Ow. Down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, welcome to the exciting life of Notepad Anon and breaking his spine. Every relationship is broken down into four parts: roots, trunk, branches, and leaves. The root of a relationship is the foundation. Is the foundation on which it is. Let's see. Root of the relationship is the foundation on which it is formed. This foundational aspect of a relationship can be positive, negative. Actually, no. If we want to make actually no, it can be positive, negative, or transactional. Positive relationships will contribute die when assisting one another. Let's see. Positive relationships will contribute die when assisting one another. As the two individuals are on relatively good terms. Negative relationships incur interference die with one another. Let's see, incur interference die with one another as they actually No, I don't want this. No. The foundation of which it is formed. This can be derived from a number of sources. Will grow and develop. Two of the most basic relationships are our patron and fellow retainer. Having the patron root. Having the patron root means that the patron is simply that. And two of the most basic relationships are patron and fellow retainer. Being roots are strong enough. Let's see. However, during their adventures, forming business partners. lover, stabbed me in the gut, or vengeful, or vengeful specter that haunts me are all completely are all completely valid, or strange witch, are all actually no, they are all completely valid. Roots. The only rule of thumb is that a root is one-sided. The root is one-sided. The root is two-sided. Reflecting the nature of the relationship between both parties. Well, let's see. Reflecting the nature of the relationship between both parties. Because you may be wondering, stab me in the gut, how's this two-party? You stabbed me, I got stabbed. Our relationship is a little bit different, a little bit weird, because hey, you tried to stab me. You literally put a metal sword in my gut, and I was bleeding to death, and I only am alive because of someone who managed to get me alive. Hey, we're business partners. Our relationship extends about as far as there. Between both parties. Roots, actually I should say roots. A root can only change in two circumstances. Let's see, a root can only change in two circumstances. A drastic change in the relationship. Causes a fundamental shift in perspective. Some fundamental shift in perspective, or a lovers turn into ex-lovers. Ex-lovers. Vengeful haunting is purified into into ancestral spirit. It's some ancestral spirit. Second, and much less common, is a shift in the nature of the participants. Is a shift in the nature of the participants outside of that relationship. Let's see. Outside of the bounds of the relationship. Actually, in short, let's see, in short, in short. It's a permanent unless the relationship or part or actually, we can write like this. Actually, we put a here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to draw a very simple little image here just to make sure that I have it, just to make sure that I'm not going completely insane. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Let's draw a circle. Long image of a person. Yep. There we go. Let me just do this real fast. Let me just put that just to make sure that I'm not going insane and the formatting is correct. I'm very particular about this. This long image of a person. There we go. We can make it a little bit thicker, probably. Like that. Boom. There we go. And then we do that. So kind of the idea is like, does the relationship change like at a core level, being like, hey, actually no, ex-lovers instead of that's what's going to be. So kind of the idea is, does the relationship change or does the people change? If the relationship changes, then yeah, of course it's going to change. Hey, lovers, we turn into being a married couple. This does change the relationship. You know, it's not like, hey, this is a fling, we're not really married, but then we get married and then that changes the relationship quite a lot. We're now, we're bonded together a little bit more. A vengeful haunting is purified because we've done something to change the relationship into an ancestral spirit. The other is a change in the nature of the participants. Hey, we're your retainer and patron, now it's noble lover. Like, hey, this is someone that I love, she is a noble, whether she's still my patron technically, but the dynamic of the relationship is very fundamentally different now. And because the people change. And then it's just like, hey, someone stabbed me in the gut may turn into trusted friends because we actually talked it out. We said, hey, what was going on? And we actually understand one another now. It's not necessarily that the relationship itself has changed. It's the fact that the people have changed, which changed the relationship. It's effectively the same thing. It's just slightly different in how it is done. And it's one of those things where you can very clearly understand like what's going on. I should even say there we go. I think the best way to think about it, like, this would be natural continuations. These are shifts. Like, you can change the entire nature. This is a continuation or a movement away from it. I believe we then move. Let's see, the trunk. Trunk of the relationship is the die associated with it. The deeper, the more developed a relationship is, the more developed a relationship is, the more valuable the die is when being called upon. Having every relationship naturally begins at D0, not as the two parties know one another but little more. Footnote, of course, being of course, the starting value may change depending on the starting value. Depending on the relationship. More on that. Depending on the relationship in question. The starting value may change depending on the relationship in question. Every relationship normally begin. So kind of like, hey, you might start out with like a D4 if it's like an intense relationship already, or a D6 even. But if it's like, hey, you just met this person, it's D0. You've literally met. You know each other exists. And yeah, you have a root. Like, yes, we are friends. They're not going to risk their life for me. You know, they're not like... The best way to think about it is, do you know someone who you can chat to pretty easily? That's D0. You're not, like, you know each other. You're friends. You can say you're work partners, and you can roughly ascertain that, like, hey, if I fall over on the ground, they would come over to me and help me up. Your D12 friend, though, is someone who would actively go out of their way to help you, even if it's detrimental to them. A D12 friend is the kind of guy who you are stranded in the middle of nowhere and your car breaks down, you give them a call, and they will be there as soon as possible. A D12 friend would go to hell and back for you because they are, you two are bound in blood kind of thing. And that's kind of the severity of various different things. Of like, hey, yeah, it's hard to... Those kind of friends are hard to get, but some people just get really friendly with you, and they will help you. I wish I had a D12 friend. And generally speaking, I don't think many people have D12 friends. If you want me to be a little bit more somber about things, I really don't think many people do have that. What size of die is internet parasocial? The thing is, that would be a different route. Because this is the thing. Your route determines what the die really is going to be like. Hey, is this person trying to find where you live constantly and will send you $1,000 donations? That person probably is D12 internet parasocial with you. This person has sent you a $5 dono and says, hey, I like your content. Maybe a D4. Maybe. Like, that's kind of the idea, is that root is such a fundamental core foundation of the relationship. But what does a D12 business partner look like? Well, a D12 business partner is, hey, you two are in the shit together. They defer to you, and they kind of expect you to defer to them when it comes to business stuff. But will a D12 business partner try to bail you out if you commit a crime? Probably not, unless it's tied to the business. Like, that's kind of the idea, and that's why that's why I kind of spent so long talking about the root. Is D12 lovers are sickening to be around. That's the funny thing. A D12 lover is someone, it is horrifying, it is awful to be around. to give you the idea of what a D12 lovers would be like, do you know the people who are like, who's my Gucci Gucci goo, and like just sickeningly in love, and you just want to hit them with a hammer? That's D12 lovers. Oh, they are horrifying to be around. And I have before. Of course, being D12 patron, hey, I'm my patron's favorite. Oh, your patron loves you. Not like that, of course. Your patron sees you as her favorite pet because you do what she wants. Roots, baby. Keeps the entire thing going. Let's see. During a test, a retainer may draw upon the trunk of a relationship if it is appropriate. On the other hand, the storyteller may invoke a relationship as a interference die. On the other hand, the storyteller may invoke a relationship as an interference die due to the let's see, the more intense the relationship, the more developed the trunk. Then actually, here's what we can do. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to add this table. D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. Yeah, very little room to work with, but actually, I should say trunk die. Trunk die. Mm. 10, 12. Fanatical. Ta, 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 ta. See, this is the sad thing. This is brand relationship, by the way. How do I want to word it? So, you have passing, it's kind of a passing knowledge of the person. Like, yeah, we're in this together. We're not really that tight. We're not really that close. We're not like, I don't hate you, you don't hate me. Like, if we see each other, like, if we're looking at it like in a negative context, passing is, I don't like you, you don't like me very much, but we only don't like or dislike one another because of maybe where we're from, or like we haven't really talked at all. That's it, really. The other football team That's D0. That's D0 hostile passing. Like, we don't like them because they're the other football team. We've never talked to them, maybe. You might converse with them a little bit. You have no real strong hostile feelings. It's just like, I don't like you because you root for the wrong team. Ha ha ha. Fanatical hatred is, I am going to go out of my way to kill you. Every waking moment in my life, I am thinking about how I can undermine, kill, dismember, and do horrible things to you. Because I hate you that much. So what would be, what would be a good word for this? What would be a good descriptor for a D4 and D6? It's kind of weird to think, be like, what's a good what's a good word to describe, like, you kind of like someone, but you kind of don't. I mean, we could change this to close to, we could do D4 to, like, familiar. Like, you have a familiar relationship with your patron, for example, and a familiar relationship with your patron is like, hey, you know one another, or you have a close relationship with them. They confer in you a little bit. You're her retainer, and that's something you have to manage. And that's something that you just deal with. That's kind of a natural state of affairs. Okay, so if we do this, and let's see, maybe based on the route and the outcome of an adventure. Conversing with a friend. Actually, on the outcome, let's see, based on the route and outcome of an adventure. The more time one invests into a relationship, more intense it will end. The more intense it will. We'll have it decrease. Should a relationship reach let's see, should a relationship fall while at D0, it will be erased. It will be erased. It will be erased as it is no longer valid. It's kind of the idea, like, you're always going to be increasing relationship with people as long as you're interacting with one another. Are you actually dealing with one another? Yeah, you're probably going to be boosting your relationship. And that's going to be one of those kind of like end of session questions of, hey, do you guys think that you actually worked well together? And the answer is, oh yeah, I think we worked really well together. And, or like, hey, we had some good RP, we worked really well, we worked really nicely. Then yeah, increase your trunk die. If you talk to your friends being like, yeah, we worked together. Did you do anything for anyone? No, not really. Being like, yeah, okay, you stay at close. You stay at close. You go to familiar or something. It's kind of like, you're not actively betraying one another. Yeah, it's like you're not actively going against one another, but it's like, hey, someone betrays it. Someone actively is, manipulating or playing the game a little bit. You could say like, no, fuck you, like, fuck you. I'm going to reduce down our relationship. I thought I could trust you. We're not friends anymore. We are. That's kind of the thing with like being retainers, though. So you're not friends. You can be friendly with one another just as much as that, but you can apply that die to multiple things. It's kind of a double-sided relationship. We're in this together, but we're also trying to undermine one another because fuck you. Yeah, you are my enemy just as much as anyone else. Next I should Yeah, some relationships, such as patrons and fellow retainers, can never break. That's a pretty easy one. You can never be D negative. You can never, like, lose everything with your retainer, like your fellow retainers, because you're just in a relationship with one another. However, if your patron ever just doesn't care about you anymore, or you betray her trust too much, she's just going to kill. You do not want to get up to here with her just as much as she wants to get up to here. It's like it'll never break down. She'll kick you out before she'll kill the contract before you hit either of those points effectively. If she hates you that much, she might keep you in there just to torture you more. I hate you so much. That's why I want to keep you around. There we go. We love footnotes. We love footnotes. Branches. Branches are unique aspects to a relationship. Influenced by the people working together with one another. Each section of the trunk may have a single branch. Branches. Two. One, two, three, four, five. Little bit wonky there, but it would work because what we would do is you would open the book. You would open the pages of the book. This would be on the left side. This would be on the right side. We'd kind of see, hey, what's going on here? It would lead in from here. So we would see this image. We would see the forest spawn. We'd open these up. You'd see both of these together. Cool. Of course. Let's see. Each section of a trunk may have a single branch. So a branch. A branch. Host of different. Can bring to bear. A simple example of a branch. Simple example of branch would be a actually would be would be a courtier, granting having a branch to gather information, among the courts, to gain information at court. Whenever a branch becomes relevant, the retainer will roll their trunk die, die, and an additional D4 bonus die from the branch. Using the above example, a courtier with D6 relationship would add a D4 when asking them to gather information about the court during court. Branches are tied to different stages of the trunk. Should a branch be associated with a D? Actually, should it be looking like this? Should it be the total number of branches? Actually, No. Okay, I know how to do this. So we're going to do that. 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually 5. So that would be 8. Actually, we do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be a total of 7. Or we can bring it down to 6. No, D12 we can keep it at 3. Each section with a let's see, branches using the above example with that during court. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to put this in. Branches tied to different stages of the trunk. Branches are tied to different stages of the trunk. Should a branch be associated with D10, falling below that D10 would lose the benefit of the branch. If but not every branch is going to be a simple plus D4. Simple D4 to add to a roll. More exotic branches may be supplying goods, assistance, or actually supplying resources, assistance, or gossip, that is lost upon deterioration. Why did I click on this? Don't do this to me. Actually, if the... Let's see. If the relationship is hostile, branches will be converted into additional interference die designed to hinder the efforts of the retainer. Suffering builds character. There we go. So we kind of have the idea of the branches, the final aspect. Then we do the final aspect. The final aspect of a relationship. Are its leaves. Contrasting the root, trunk, and branches. Trunk, and branches. Contrasting the root, trunk, and branches. The leaves are simple to explain. It's what outsiders view the relationship as. It's what outsiders view the relationship as. Explaining most relationships can be broken down into one a simple phrase or even a word. Master and servant. Master or servant or friend or companions. Are adventuring party members. Easy to these are simple descriptors that supply all the readily available information. Learning about, however, I should say, learning about roots, trunks, and branches. Though learning about roots, trunks, and branches, it's makes a full relationship. Leaves can also be deceiving to those looking inside, those looking at them. Two companions who have let's see, supporting one another through hardship and woe may be reduced down to a duo of fighters. That's the best way to think about it. If you want a good example of this, Samwise, Gamgee, and Frodo. It's very easy to look at them through a purely Leaf perspective as two hobbits on an adventure. That's a very easy way to look at it. Though, if you look at their relationship and the way they have developed over the time, these two are effectively brothers by the end. These two would go to hell and back for one another, and in Samwise's case, he fucking did. and they will support one another no matter the cost. These two are way deeper. The relationship is a lot more nuanced than just two hobbits on an adventure. However, again, you're looking at things just leaf. That's the idea of leaves. It's looking in. Leaves cover up the branches, the trunk, and all the roots. What do you see with a tree? You see the leaves. Only if you go under it, you start learning about all of the details. But hey, you gotta know things. That's the problem. Is it's leaves, adventuring party members. Now, learning to navigate the complex courts of Schwarzwald is understanding not all leaves are green. That's kind of the idea, is like, hey, understand that not every relationship you see is very simple. It's very easy to say, hey, these two are friends. Why? And that's something you should key into a little bit. Like, hey, why are you two, like, as close of friends? I could probably break this up a little bit more, but I'm not going to because I feel that's, like, fairly necessary. Actually, there are a few methods to determine the starting relationships between the members of the retainers and their patron. More advanced games with deeper let's see, D12 11. Under normal circumstances, consult the following chart. Consult the following. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't want to be, like, really specific with it. And the reason I don't want to be really specific with, like, these are what your starting relationships are, because every game is going to be a little different. And you might want to say, hey, we're doing a full ERP game, and we just want people fucking right away. Hey, you want people fucking right away in your crazy ERP bullshit game? Then cool. Establish that pretty early on. Like, just establish that as kind of a nature real fast. So if you don't want that, cool. If you want to have, like, oh, well, we're brothers and siblings already, and then, yeah, your die is going to be a lot larger than other people. Again, we're doing the most basic way possible. That's the idea here. I'll probably have to put a side note in there. actually, you know what we can do? We can go to main, go to works. Mm. 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 There we go. Spring, autumn, winter. We're going to reduce out to 2. We're going to do this table properties. We're going to make that black. Starting relationships. If it's your spring, it's going to be D6. It's going to be D6 with all retainers. D6 with all retainers. Because why? Because he's friendly. That's her entire thing. Summer is D6 with actually, actually no. D8 relationship with elves, D6 relationship with human, with goblins, D4 relationship with human, and D0 and D0 with Pucka. Simple. Yeah, you just want a very simple way, you keep it simple. Hey, you were dealing with nationalists? Hey. Get fucked, Pucka. Yeah, effectively, the nationalist just, like, treats the Pucka like shit. That should be a noted fact. Like, hey, a nationalist is gonna treat a Pucka like shit. Because that's kind of the nature of them. Like, so it's kind of like, hey, we kind of got a basic understanding of with one another. Mm. 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 There we go. Retainer relationships. Yeah. So kind of like if you're playing a pretty like if you're just playing newcomers, just have a D4 with everybody. That's a pretty standard one. You're kind of invested in one another, but not really. If you're invested, that means everyone you have is a D6, and there is another relationship you have with someone that's not your patron that is D8. Why is that the case? I don't know. I have a brother. I have a friend. I have someone. It's a little bit of that investment. Like you're kind of invested in the situation a little bit. Or hey, I am a hey, guess what? I am actually I am an elf. Like that's a thing you have to think about. You are an elf. You have a vested relationship with another person. Or they're like, hey, you have a different relationship with, a different character. Especially if you are, hey, you have like your patron is kind of a spring court member. Hey, your retainer is viewing you, like all retainers view their patron with D8 because she cares about all of you a lot, of course. Because it's spring, we love you, and then you can all kind of use that kind of with her as well. On the other hand, it's hard to build this, and that should be the thing. It's hard to build up relationships at that point. Zero D is zero-sided, so it's nothing. It's just 0. Yeah. I rolled a 0. I got it. The fuck's a D0? It's D0. Because I put here as it's a die. That's the thing. It's a die value as D0 is 0. You would add technically in that relationship a D0 to the result, not just 0. It would just be 0, but we're keeping the I would say the tone, the numbers correct. That's the entire idea. Because it is referred to as a die. And technically the die is D0, which is nothing. You roll nothing for it. So you want to invoke that relationship die? Yes, of course. You add nothing to it, because it's a fucking 0. That's all it is. Notepad, roll a D0. One success has it changed to a D2. You're the reason people die. It's not a die, it's a 0. Well, yeah, that's the entire idea of the D0. It's to keep the fucking notation correct. That's the entire idea. What do you want me to put here? Trunk die 0? This looks silly now. All the rest of this is D. This looks silly now. Oh, sorry, it's 0. Oh, what's the die? 0. No, it would be D0. Die 0. You have nothing there. It's the null die. If I wanted to, I put a null there, because you can have a D0 as a die, as a trunk version, effectively, which is you have no relationship with someone. Hence, up here, you have a passing relationship with someone. 0 die? No, that doesn't make any sense. What, do I have to put like 4 that? What's trunk die? 4? No, that doesn't make any fucking sense. D0. It is a die that is 0. It can improve up to a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, because this is the notation that we're using. That is literally it. That is the reason we're doing things. Exactly. It's a non-die. That's the point. And you know what? Fuck it. God damn it. There. Jesus. To clarify, this is 0. Written this way to maintain notation. Jesus. Bitch, 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 bitch. That's what I hear from you people all the time. Bitch, bitch, bitch. Oh no, notepad. This looks silly. This looks silly. We made it worse. Aw, nah. You don't understand, man. Like I have to make it this way to explain to people. What is d0 to the exponential power of 5? Well, I have to put a footnote in now because people don't understand that d0 is a notational term to make sure that people understand this is a nothing burger die. That nothing of value is being rolled here. It's d0. It's worth nothing. But so I'm putting a notational value, a fucking footnote there to make sure that people understand. You happy now? Can we be annoyed? Can we be happy now? Is everyone okay with it? Jesus. I know it's a term, but you were being baby, can't write, just write 0 or no. I've used D0 before when it comes to dice stacking. When it comes to dice stacking, I like to put a D0 here because if you don't, it looks like this is literally just what it is. It's just 0 and it looks weird. It looks out of place. If I didn't have the D here, then it would look like this and it would make sense, but I don't because I put it consistently throughout the entire rest of the game as DX. Yo, if should a relationship fall while at D0, die value 0, it's worth nothing. It should be erased and no longer valid. That's the entire reason it's there, to maintain a consistent look. That is why. There is a method to my madness, everyone. There is a reason I do the things I do. I am, in fact, not completely stupid. Damn, guys, I don't have a D0 in my pack. We can't play the game. There's poo in your head. Why don't you just do NA or a null symbol? Well, why would I do that? I don't need a null symbol. What? It's D0. Everyone knows. You can say, oh, die value 0. This is worth nothing. Yes, everyone can know this. Jesus! You're gaslighting me. You're all gaslighting me now. I've done this repeatedly. Dice are made for rolling. Roll D0, you mongrel. Oh, okay, you want me to roll a D0? Wow, let me just roll, let me roll this die. Oh yeah, I forgot, it's fucking 0! It's nothing. You don't roll a die. That's the entire thing. It's a die that doesn't exist. It's a non-existent one. Manly's just mad. Manly is just mad that he doesn't understand D0. Otherwise known as don't roll anything. You roll die 0. There's nothing there. It's worth nothing. He doesn't understand. I fucking hate the sight of D0. Yeah, 0 looks silly. Yeah, but trunk die NA, but that's the thing. It's not, oh, NA relationship. No, it's 0. That's the problem. Every relationship begins at 0. I'm not going to say, oh, every relationship begins at NA. That doesn't make any sense. No, but at D0, we understand that it can improve. Oh, it begins at 0, but if I just put a 0 here, then it's a flat number. It's not a die. But if I put a D0 here, it's a die with 0 sides, otherwise known as fucking 0. However, hey, D8, we know what a D8 is. We know what that basic notation is. We know what a D4 is. Not 4. Ah, sorry. Roll 4. Not a D4, roll a 4. Yeah, fuck, Jesus Christ. I can't live without his DS. Jesus. Hey, my Nintendo DS was great. That thing lasted so long. Which we need to get around to playing the 3DS game, by the way. Just to gaslight Manly. I do have a 3DS emulator. I'm ready to go on that. Like, I've been wanting to do that for a while. So if we go all the way up here, we hit this button, we hit this, we are at Round Table in the Forest Bond. We have successfully completed the relationship section. We just need to do the conflict resolution system on Friday. Okay, you know what? I'm feeling... Roll D0. You roll your D0 intelligence. God, y'all shitting on me for keeping proper notation throughout my games. God. Let's see. So generally speaking, in our current state of affairs, 2.5 hours in, we have the Forest Bond, we have relationships. Actually, what I should do. What's it? Schwarzwald isn't static. People, from elf to. Every single person is making moves to build relationships and power bases with one another. Schwarzwald isn't static. Specifically, I should put that. Every single person is making moves to build relationships and power bases with one another. The storyteller may need to track relationships between multiple non-retainer, non-patron, non-retainer characters, non-retainer characters who enter the story for one reason. Hooray! Just surrender to oblivion. It's over. See, I always forget that I hear the hooray. Schwarzwald isn't static. Every single person, one reason or another. The simple method to advancing. Actually. Well, keeping track of it can be easily. No, I don't think I really need to add this. This is kind of a redundant statement, but I will add footnote. Side note, Just leaders. For example, if the ambitious Margravine Hilda let's see. If Margravine Hilda is the leader of the group of nobles and plot to steal territory off Wayward Duchess, then only Margravine Hilda. The retainer, I should say. Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of groups and factions is pretty simple. It's like, hey, factions exist. If there is a faction, then you don't need to like, hey, there's a 50-member faction, you have to form a relationship with. No, you just form a relationship with leader, and it's for everyone. Fucking D0 exploding die. Yes, and you roll 0, which is nothing, so it doesn't explode. Ah. Oh, very simple. It's as simple as this. It's as simple as that. Insightful comments from my mother. Do those Irish people still fight about religion? I know they were blowing each other up in the 70s. Yeah. There's still some. I grab the rock. I kill you. I crush your head with the rock. But Manly, you don't understand. D0 has no value because 0 is a non-existent value. Let's see. Oh goodness. Give me 1 second. I need to gaslight my server role. I need to gaslight it. Your server, they are killing each other about dice. Therefore, dice are cursing. What discussion even? I see it's about 1 to 30. That's it. Jeez, you have 3.55 of the patron retainer pick. Yeah. If anytime you see some insightful notepad artwork, just understand. Just throw something in there. Legitimately, just give me some artwork to work with, and I can make it work. It doesn't even have to be custom artwork. Just give me access to art that you've done for it, and I can make things work. God. Fucking actually. How do I do side notes? Do side notes. We're doing 10. We're doing Prata 1. Like this. So we go up. 1, 2. This. Side notes. We. This. 2. My server's being cringe nene babies as they do sometimes. Side note, we want to keep Prita 1, do this, 1, 2, keep it easy. But don't worry. I feel like I need to. I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm missing. Actually, no. I'm going to do side note, special patron. Actually, no. What I'm going to do is... See, part of me wants to put... Part of me wants to put this after the relationships, and then explain this a little bit better, so it'd look a little bit like, So we'd have the forest bond, we'd explain how bonds work and things like that, then we would immediately lead into the round table, and then we explain this with the influence die, and then strings of nobility. Another part of me doesn't think that's a good idea. I'll debate on that. I don't think there's a right answer to that one, I think. But what I am going to do... One of the patrons' influence... Let's see. Every patron associated with influence with a positive value. Circling around to the deepest bond with the pace. Circling the round table, starting with whoever has the highest trunk die. Actually, no. Okay, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be a little bit wonky, but we can make it work. We're going to put this here. We're going to then put this here. Then we're going to string up here. Lady Wackelmaden, strings. Let's see. Every patron has a D4, D6, D8, D8, D10, D10, and D12. Let's see. Whoever has the best, Let's see. Whoever has the best relationship and branches with their patron, the retainers are able to take one of the patrons, patron. Let's see, apply to one of their chakras. So what we can do is we can do the strings of nobility. Then we do use in the field, Her Lady Wackelmaden, and we do support on high. Actually, can we fit support on? We can fit support on high right there, and everything fits beautifully with one another. So we understand what's going on there. We can add an image right there, and we are Gucci. We add an image right there. Feels like I should add something here. I feel like I'm missing something with relationships. You know what? I'll add a note here. Side note: extremely complex, weird, awful relationships. The unfortunate. This is an extremely simple method of tracking how relationships function. There are hundreds of exception clauses, small movements, and mutual natures that can influence. But people can hate one another but work together flawlessly. If the LP1 with multiple roots and trunks. Warped trees are relationships with multiple roots and trunks, forming mutual interlocking relationships with one. For example, having a let's see. For example, having a hated rival who is a close friend would have both develop mutually. Though not very easily. Though not very easily. Hated rival who is a close friend. Would have both develop mutually. They may assist. Let's see. Us having a D8. Only have a single branch between them. These relationships can be Mm. Mm. So this is extremely simple. Like, yeah, it's like, this is an extremely simple method. Like, this is a simple method of tracking how relationships function. Like, that's all it is. It's like, this is a... Why doesn't the patron have a D0? Because that's not... That's... They don't have a D0 because those are the only die. Those are the only die of their influence. If they run out of a D4, they can't roll anymore. That's the idea. That's different from a relationship. Relationships can have all the way up to D0. Because relationships, you can have a passing familiarity with people. Influence die, on the other hand, can't. You go up to D4, you lose your D4, they can't make the roll anymore. That's the problem. Horus reached whatever the fuck the opposite of enlightenment is. Oh, what do you mean? See, man, these are different things. Let's see. Horus said, fight about dice, about not using all the values or something. I came very late to the esoterica. What do you mean? Give me a mammal. I don't fucking know. Choose a let's roll a random mammal, everyone. Random mammal. Random mammal. Random mammal generator. Ad blocking. I don't want to turn off my ad block. Random mammal. Giraffe. There we go. Everyone likes giraffe or a deer. Deer is simple. We all like deer. Deer are nice and easy. Don't you want to? Don't we want to have Ray? I for one think that Ray the White deserves to all be in every game. My favorite gay Russian. There we go. We put an image right there. Hey, all I'm saying, Draco, is that I'm very adroit. my erudite adroitness does permit me to use D0s. I'm enlightened. In this moment, I am euphoric. D0 for his eruditeness. All right, I'm going to I'm gonna end it here. So thank you all for coming. 3 hours, little bit long, but we finished a lot. Actually, we finished a lot more than I thought. Eruditeness will show up again somewhere. I don't know where, but it will show up again. If only to continue to gaslight people into making sure that people know. And I make a point to know that anytime the word eruditeness comes, considering I got 20 minutes of screaming at you. Yeah, no, it's we've made pretty good progress, all things considered. Honest to God, this relationship system is a lot more than I actually thought, and it works really well. Because all this is, at the end of the day, it would have to be adapted to other games, of course, but all it is at the end of the day is a very simple way of saying what is the relationship built off? How strong is the relationship? What are the benefits of this relationship? What does this relationship look like to other people? Easy. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that that fits a lot of things. Most likely, if I wanted to be really precise and keep things on the up and up, I would probably add in the fuck, where is it? We're fixing Iron Hunter one day, Manly, rest assured. It will be entirely in Polish this time. Prodenia kobiet, no, that's kobieta. Though kobiet does use, no, it's morons with pedigree. Mad. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is morons with pedigrees. This is a really old game at this point. I need to fix this up because I do enjoy this game. It's a very specific game. And it's a very specific game about a very specific idea, and let me find this, because it's a very strange idea. I might put it in the concept of the relationships and the ensemble, if only just to put in like the build a map of how people are. But yeah, no, Morons with Pedigree is a game that I would want to. I might go back one day. I might do this on my off time just to kind of fix some things up. Because the entire premise with Morons with Pedigrees, for those who don't remember, is technically there is a main character. Adroitness. Yeah. Like the idea behind it is, like, I think I need to like fix things up and rework some things in it, because this was an early game. This is a really early one, simply based off one idea. But I think the idea of like, hey, Iron Hunter is Soviet. Iron Hunter can best be described as Soviet monster hunting, the people's monster hunting. Because the entire premise is it's Kami Ghostbusters. Is the government shot all the cool government shot the Belmonts? No, because I realized something horrible, Draco. I realized that I didn't have the Boots and Mud character sheet, so I need to make it. I'll probably do that tonight. I literally lost the sheet because I was like, oh, I'll do the I'll upload the sheet, it'll be nice and easy. And I looked at it, I'm like, the sheet's gone. I don't know how. The sheet's gone. I don't know if it got moved into a folder somewhere, if it got moved around, if it just kind of got deleted on accident. I don't know. I know I did a bunch of shifting of files around, so there's a chance I deleted it just on accident because I thought I had it somewhere else, but I could remake it pretty easily. It won't be too long for me to fix it. It just takes time. At the end of the day, that's all it's going to be. It's just going to be time. Yeah, no, this is the yeah, the entire idea of Morons with Pedigree is that there's an actual main character who is not played by any player. The main character is, hey, Harry Fletcher, a young man of 17, has inherited his father's estate after his tragic illness claimed his life. Unbeknownst to many, Sir Arnold Fletcher had a large amount of savings stocked up from small investments and other tactical monetary stockpiles. The young man is now one of the richest in the entire region, a fact that has many eyeing his choices and decisions. Candela Zavalos, a widow of 32, she has not been in constant mourning since the death of her husband in war, or not. Candelas has been secretly having affairs and other escapades in her indirect court for years after her husband's demise, and now that it's been revealed, some are seeking to protect her, while others seemingly want to destroy her. Yeah, just ho ho ho. That's the entire idea, is just like, yeah, what's your relationship with others, and yeah, I need to fix some things with it. There's a few games that I want to just fix with, but it just takes time. But I'm gonna call it there. Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Godspeed, good luck. I'm going to make myself a pizza tonight, and it's going to be really good because I got one from Aldi today, so I am away.